I'm kind of curious about her. If you are, we can ask her some questions.
Yeah.
All right. When we work on crossing over the dead, the first element that needs to happen is to help them raise their frequency, because this is a part of the soul healing process. I work on creating an environment where we can do this together. The ghosts reside in the fourth dimension, which is also known as the lower astral or hells. This is the space that is literally between heaven and earth. This dimension is also where the dark entities reside. And trust me, they can and do use and abuse the dead. These dark entities are parasitic in nature, meaning that they need us and we don't need them. They can and do capture the human soul. And we need to really understand the ramifications of this. For millennia, the dark side has put this knowledge into our head based on certain false belief structures, such as they weren't ready to go, or maybe they had unfinished business, or they are such an awful person, they deserve to rot in hell. The reality is that once we leave our physical bodies, our karmic time here is done, and we need to go home to the higher realms when our incarnation is over. This helps our soul to grow and evolve. Any psychic who tells you that they had unfinished business or some other reason why a ghost soul doesn't cross over is actually giving you the wrong information. Spiritual law says that we need to go back home when we leave these physical bodies. If we're lingering in the fourth dimension, the lower astral, we can actually incur negative karma depending on our reasonings for it. If we're doing it to be basically a jerk, that's one thing. If we're doing it because we're lost or stuck, we need help. Every soul, no matter how evil, no matter how wonderful, needs to cross over and be put back into the God source light. Is she feeling warmer? And just let me know what you hear.
I hear a very weak, yes, very weak.
Yeah. Does she see the angel standing by her?
As she looked up.
Yeah.
I saw her face.
Would she like to hold their hands? These are for her.
Yes.
All she has to do is just, they're stepping into the circle to be with her.
Okay.
They're lowering their frequency levels because that would be too much for her at the moment.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's in shock, disbelief to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now does she feel warmer?
Yes. I don't get an answer.
Okay, and that's fair. All right, is there anything she needs?
A teddy bear.
Oh, let's bring her one. All right.
So bizarre. I mean,
yeah. All right.
It's the first thing that
Came to her. Yeah. So I want her to look at the pile of teddy bears and she can pick one and the angel's going to bring it to her.
Okay.
She never figured out she died. When someone dies and they miss that memo, the chances of them figuring out what to do upon death greatly diminishes. When somebody is suddenly ejected out of their body, they don't know what happened. They're surprised, they're stunned, but yet they keep existing. They're looking for help. They're talking to their loved ones and their loved ones don't hear them. Or maybe they are signaling for some kind of help or answer. But the bottom line is that ghost state is a very cold and lonely space to be. We need to help them cross over. Has she been in the house for a long time? And she's not, I'm telling her right now, she's not in any kind of trouble. We're just here to help her.
Yes.
Do you know if she came with the house when you purchased it or when you moved in?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know I've had spirits following me from when I lived in California to here to, and their energy, oddly enough, would come through a blender, like in the middle of the night, the blender would just go off.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. They utilize electricity. It's an easy form of energy for them.
Yes, yeah.
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 Um,
Although that hasn't happened in a long time. I've heard conversations in this house.
okay.
I mean, like sentences, not conversations.
Okay. A kind of electronic sounding.
Yeah, like I heard a female voice in my hallway saying, "Can you believe what you're seeing?" And I looked up at my grandchild and I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "No."
Okay.
And anyway, so that's, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
it's a female voice, but it was a woman. It sounded like a woman, not a child.
yeah. So okay, we're gonna make sure that these are all humans also.
Yeah,
As that to me sounds like she's human, but we want to make sure. Okay. All right.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And let's just ask this little girl, does she know what her name is?
Cynthia, that's weird.
I'm getting yes, I'm getting the same thing. I'm like, I'm literally in my head going, sin. Yeah.
Oh,
Cynthia. While we were here to help Cynthia, we found a lot more dead, including animals. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of dead who now found us. And it's getting a bit complex, and I have to be extremely logical and methodical and non-emotional, non-reactive during this process. To become inundated with thousands of dead also means there's a huge probability that there are many nefarious beings attached to them, and they can now see us. While our attention is focused on the Civil War dead, I have a subroutine, as I like to call it, to start removing the dark entities, which these things can range from their standard black magicians, the skinny, bony guys with the scraggly hair, to voodoo practitioners, all the way up to the grays and reptilians and anything in between. Again, safety is key. Our power is that we are in physical bodies. Their power is that we may not know that that energetic source is there, but when we do, we can get the upper hand so readily and so easily. Does she know that she's died?
um, no.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. We're letting her know that she did die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Civil War era for her. Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This era, this area where I am, like Sherman marched his troops right down the main road where I'm living.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
oh yeah, this whole area, slaves, Savannah is big time.
All right.
Ghosts, spirits, big time.
And it doesn't matter what side of the fence they're on, they need to come into the circle.
Yeah.
Civil War dead, a lot of times these people who die in a war miss the memo they died and they just drop dead and they keep on fighting.
Yeah. Oh.
Pretty pathetic do loop. I keep telling them, there's got to be a better system, seriously.
No. I understand we're headed toward one.
I know, right? But still, this is like ridiculous, but it is what it is. Yeah. Soldiers, horses, we're going to put in some hay and grain.
Yeah.
Women, children, it doesn't matter. And once I'm going to start having the angelic realms go into the circle to start sorting them out. We don't want the Civil War dead to keep fighting inside there. Little Cynthia's still confused. She's not sure what's going on, and I'm trying to get more information from her to help learn about her situation. I suspect she may have died in her sleep and she slipped out of her body, not knowing what to do. Oftentimes, when children die, they're looking for an adult in charge to help them to figure out what's going on. But when the adult isn't present, they really simply don't know what to do. If you suspect a child has died and you'd like to help them, you can go to my book, Soul Tribe, Navigating the Spiritual War. There's a crossing over prayer in there to help you help them. It's a true spiritual service. But I want to go back to Cynthia. I'm asking her, do you remember what happened to you?
I don't get an answer.
Mhm.
It's not a clear. It's like
I,
confusion.
yeah, I am too. About how old does she feel to you?
About six.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Six.
I was going to say 6, 7. Okay.
Yeah,
And I asked you the questions because I don't want to lead the witness. I don't want to, does she feel like she's 6 or 7 years old? I don't want to, so,
yeah. I got it.
okay. And if I, you said 6 or 7 and I'm thinking teenager, we'd work through it. But I'm getting 6, 7 and all right, I'm just kind of tuning into her. I'm asking her, was there a fire?
I see flames.
Yeah, yeah. I think she died in a fire.
Mhm.
Um, she died before the fire hit her, so she died of smoke inhalation.
Ah,
So let's ask her, does that sound right? Was it really smoky?
I get yes.
I got a huge yes on that one.
Mhm.
Did she have a mama? That was a question I asked. This darling little girl has been roaming around the underworld, lost and confused for a long time. We all need to realize the importance of angels that are among us. Angels are a huge, underutilized resource that all of humanity has access to. We just need to learn to ask for their help. They cannot help us unless we ask them because they are not allowed to break spiritual law. They cannot mitigate our free will, unlike the dark side, who seems to have a monopoly on that situation. At the same time, my team is starting to give me clues as to her demise, and I'm picking up on some information. But even though I'm getting information from my team, I want to validate that information is accurate because I know no one human is ever 100% accurate. So, working in this process with you, with the client, helps to find out what the real truths are, not simply what I think they could be.